the storage in case he decides to spring a surprise inspection on us.
Good idea.
Only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today is issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days,
You must have done something, Jensen. 4 of our GPL signals just popped up, including yours. Koss, Colvin, Faraday. I'm not picking up Dr. Reed.
Send me the coordinates you do have. And Pritchard, tell Sarif.
I can't. While you were incommunicado, Mr. Darrow invited him, Bill Taggart, and the UN delegates to Panchea. They're halfway to the Arctic by now.
Great.
Access granted.
Augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbance.
Access granted.
Hiding here, you better come out.
Get the hell out. This lab is off limits to you people.
Nice to see you too, Dr. Goldman.
What? Wait a second. I know you. You were Seraph's security guy. Way to protect our asses.
Hey, check the attitude, Doc. I nearly died trying to save you.
Oh, and now you're here to take me back. Well, maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I've got more here than I ever had at Seraph.
Would Vasily Savchenko agree with that? They executed him and dumped his body in a ditch.
That's not true.
Believe it. Unless these murderers have you so brainwashed, you don't mind building their toys.
It wasn't a toy. It was a software upgrade that limits functionalities in a biochip. They told me it was for crowd control. Is Vasily really dead? You saw the body?
What was left of it?
Oh my God. I should have listened to him.
Dr. Colvin, I need to locate the rest of the team. But Dr. Reed's GPL isn't broadcasting.
She's in the secured zone. There are guards everywhere.
Then I need a way to get the guards out. A distraction. Maybe a lab accident, what do you say?
After what those bastards did to Vasily? Of course. But one minor incident in this lab won't be enough.
No. But if a couple of other labs go up, simultaneously...
Declan and Eric. Of course. Interesting idea, Mr. Jensen. Ambitious, but risky. The timing will be critical.
I'll coordinate the attack. But you understand that this could all backfire.
I'm no shrinking violet, Mr. Jensen, but there may be another issue.
They're tracking your GPLs, aren't they? I've been wondering how to get around that.
Smart man. Just like Vasily. He had a plan to shut down their tracking and jamming protocols using a virus. Maybe Declan or Eric know something more about it.
I haven't yet located Eric Koss, Dr. Colvin. Do you know where they're keeping him?
He's working in a lab on the 3rd floor. There's an elevator that might get you there. It's on the 2nd floor, though, and I heard the guard say something about that floor being shut off. But then again, with those neuro enhancements of yours, you might find a way to get into it.
Dr. Colvin, I need to know I can trust you. You seemed pretty happy to be here until I told you about Dr. Savchenko.
It's been 6 months, Mr. Jensen. Not long for you, perhaps, but how long can a person live in constant fear? Once they took us out of isolation, it just seemed easier to concentrate on the work.
Did all of you feel that way?
Vasily didn't. Maybe not Declan either, but the work we do here, the discussions, and the theories. I thought Seraph's projects were far-reaching, but the experiments I've seen going on here, it's the kind of stuff DARPA dreams up every day.
Only without governmental oversight keeping you in line.
I suppose I'm just a typical scientist to you, right, Mr. Jensen? Blindly pushing boundaries? No care for who's footing the bill or how our discoveries get made?
We all have to live with ourselves at the end of the day, Dr. Colvin.
You're right, of course. But were things so different in Detroit? We all know where those Seraph contracts came from, don't we? You asked me if you could trust me. You can. But you better get on with this.
Dr. Faraday doesn't seem to be working in this building. Any idea where he is?
I think he's in the biomech lab next door. But you don't have to go outside to reach him. There's a skywalk that connects the two buildings. Maybe you can use it.
Okay, wait for my signal, Dr. Colvin. When your GPL starts to vibrate, set off the distraction.
I understand. And I'm sorry for what I said earlier.
Access granted.
Please, I'm just a scientist. You don't need that weapon.
Dr. Koss, I'm here to get you out.
Jensen? From Sarif? But we were told we'd been written off.
Not exactly.
Listen, Jensen. They forced me to work for them. I didn't want to create the new biochip, especially since it was based on Sarif's research, but they didn't give me a choice.
No one doubts your loyalty, Dr. Koss. Do you know what they plan to do with this new biochip?
I'm not sure. They said something about having Tai Young Medical produce it and distribute it through Lim, but I can't be sure.
I know, and I'm here to bring you all back. But to reach Megan, I need you, Colvin, and Faraday to stage lab accidents as a distraction, simultaneously.
Isn't that a little risky? Besides, how will we coordinate these accidents? It's impossible.
Maybe not. But it's that or staying here and eventually ending up like Dr. Sevchenko.
They killed him, didn't they? He kept provoking them, coming up with these wild escape plans. They try to keep us apart as much as possible now. All right, Mr. Jensen. I'm with you. What's our next move?
We need to disable their GPL tracker. I know Dr. Sevchenko was working on something.
Yes, a virus program. We all thought it was too risky considering we had nowhere to go. But I don't have it. You'd better check with Nia or Declan.
Dr. Koss, the bioship you mentioned was based on Sarif studies?
Yes, I believe so. At first I thought it was merely convergent research, but I've worked with Dr. Reed long enough to recognize her handiwork. Besides, I had been working on something similar back in Detroit.
And your knowledge of it made you invaluable here.
At least to a certain extent, it probably helped us all stay alive. But now with Dr. Shevchenko, I guess we've all become expendable. Except for Dr. Reed, I suppose.
Why do you say that?
It's more of a general feeling, I guess. Back in Detroit, we all realized that we were on the verge of something groundbreaking. And here, well, everyone seems to view her research as crucial in some way.
That might explain why she's being held in a secured area.
Possibly. I'm just glad we're going home. It's kind of hard to believe.
Declan, right. Dr. Koss, do you have any idea where they're keeping him?
I might. I overheard some of the guards. I think he might be working in the basement of the biomech labs. But I'm not sure.
Sit tight, Dr. Koss. When you feel a vibration from your GPL, set off that distraction. That'll be the signal.
I will. Good luck, Mr. Jensen. And hurry.
Access granted.
I heard that. Come out. I think it came from around here. I heard that. Come out. I think it came from around here.
What happened here?
Access granted. Access granted.
Adam? Adam Jensen? Good grief, lad. What the blazes happened to you?
I made the mistake of surviving. I'm here to get you out, Dr. Faraday.
I told Vasily that Seraph wouldn't stop looking.
Sevchenko's dead, Dr. Faraday. I'm sorry.
I figured as much. One day he was just gone, and they wouldn't say why. We were all afraid, so we just kept to the work. They forced me to create a signal pattern that could broadcast software upgrades directly into a person's implanted circuitry.
Upgrades? That do what?
Whatever instructions have been encoded into them. They said it was to improve efficiency at clinics, but that wouldn't be the only application. Far from it.
I see. Dr. Faraday, we need to free Megan from the isolation zone. I've got a plan to distract the guards. 3 lab accidents.
I like your style, son. And it just might work if you can get Nia and Eric to agree. But timing them to occur at once, that will be the trick.
I'll worry about the timing. For now, sit tight and wait for my signal.
There's one thing you're forgetting, lad. They can track our GPL signals.
I know. But I'm hoping you might have the solution to that problem. Sevchenko's viral program.
Of course! I shouldn't have underestimated you. Vasily gave it to me before he disappeared. Here you are. Upload it onto the central security computer. It will scramble their scanners. I would have done it myself, but I'm just a scientist.
Don't sell yourself short, Doc. Any idea who's behind this, Doc? The kidnapping, the facility?
Not really. Remarkable considering I've been here 6 months. You would have thought someone would let something slip. But if it doesn't have to do with the research, you don't get a word out of them.
Sounds like the guards are well trained. But But what kind of threats were needed to stop the other researchers from talking?
Well, there were threats early on just to get us to work. Of course, Vasily saw right through that. Kept saying they needed us. I suppose in his case, the risk outstripped the return at some point. Damn them.
Dr. Sevchenko probably knew the risks and accepted them.
That he did. Go on, lad. Let's put this plan of yours into action. It's time to teach these wankers a lesson.
Tell me, where do I find this security terminal?
Vasily told me there's a tunnel leading to it, near the back of the compound, I believe. But I'm afraid you'll have to explore a bit to be sure.
Once I upload the virus, it'll be time to act. I'll signal you. A vibration in your GPL. Be ready.
Understood, lad. But do be careful.
Access granted. Access granted.
Pritchard, are you still tracking the scientists?
Of course.
Simulate feedback along that route. Make it strong enough to vibrate their implants. They have to feel it.
A signal, eh? Not bad, Jensen. I'm sending it now.
Go! Go! Double time!
Your tenacity, Adam Jensen, is really quite irritating. We'd like you to stop now.
I'm afraid I can't, Zhao. You see, I figured it out. I know what you and your conspiracy buddies are planning.
Do you? How clever.
A new biochip. A software upgrade that limits what augmentations can do. You're creating a kill switch. You kidnapped Megan Reed's team to do it, and you're seizing control of the market to ensure it gets distributed. All because you're afraid of people like me. Augmented people, with the power to resist you.
No one's afraid of you, Mr. Jensen. All your blundering around and childish interference hasn't stopped a thing. Tell me, have you been to a limb clinic lately?
Let me guess. That was supposed to shut me down, right? Leave me broken and begging?
The Augs are recalled. You should be offline.
Women never fail to underestimate men.
You should have stayed dead, Jensen. Behind you, Jensen. I have a surprise. It's been a long time. Should have died first. Hopeless this is. You. A nice trick, but futile. Do I sense desperation, Jensen? Right over here. chased long ago. Look at you, jumping in dark like a scared child. That will not save you, my friend. I thought you would be more formidable than this. Will you lose your nerve, Jensen, now that the end is near? Do I sense desperation, Jensen? Trap me, although. Behind you, Jet. Finish it.
Not until you tell me where Megan is.
You've lost her, Jensen. Men like us, we never get back the things we love.
Jaren, is that you?
Not exactly.
Adam? Oh my god, Adam! It's you! You're hurt. What happened?
What happened to you? I risked my life for you, Megan. I came halfway around the world, and for what?
It's not what you think.
Are you part of this?
No! No, Adam, I swear it! The kidnapping was real. The attack on Seraph Industries, they came after me. They wanted my research.
And when did you decide they could have it?
It didn't happen like that. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't. I couldn't! And then David said we had to use it. We owed it to mankind.
David? What are you talking about?
My great discovery. The genetic framework I found that makes it easier for living tissue to bond with implants. I found it. In you, Adam. I used your DNA. I wanted to tell you, I swear. But David convinced me what it could mean for mankind. How much better off we could all be. It took Hugh to make me see how wrong I was.
Hugh? Hugh Darrow.
He owns this facility. After Namir brought us here...
Pritchard! Patch me into Seraph, now!
Adam, please! He was only pretending to work with Tai Young and the others. He found out what they were planning to do and told them he would help. But only to make sure they never succeeded. Their control signal won't work.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Seraph here has asked me to show the world how human enhancement technology can change it. After careful deliberation, I've decided I must do exactly that. Forgive me.
It's modified the control signal. Anyone with the new biochip will be affected. You never said anything about this.
I'm going back for the scientists.
No, Adam! I know the complex better than you. I'll find them. There's a hangar bay through there. Get to its control room and retract the roof. Clear a path for us.
Jensen, what the hell's going on out there? Broadcast frequencies are going haywire.
Malik, is that you? Where are you?
Coming into visual range of Singapore now. Been in the air since Pritchard first pinged you.
Good timing. I'm heading for a hangar bay to open the roof. I'll need an emergency extraction.
Roger that. I'm on my way. Hey, Jensen! Looks like you could use some help! I see the scientist, Jensen. I'm landing nearby. And I think Dr. Reed wants to speak to you. Hang on. Hello? Adam? We're all fine, but you have to get to Panchaea and stop Hugh.
You and I aren't done with this, Megan.
I know how it looks. But you have to stop the broadcast. I think it's causing the new biochips to overstimulate the vagus nerve, creating terrifying hallucinations.
You mean it's driving augmented people insane?
Yes, and it's up to you to stop it. Use the Leo shuttle. It will take you to Panchaea. Good luck, Adam.
Automated systems online. Darrow sequence 1, code 1, 1A, preset and ready to engage. Suborbital trajectory plotted. Destination Panchaea. Begin countdown, Mr. Darrow.
Begin countdown.
Code 000. Confirm 0. Countdown commencing. Stand by for liftoff. Electrodynamic launch assist sequence commencing. Beginning descent.
Jensen. Jensen, can you read me?
Barely. I've reached Panchaea, Pritchard. Any word from Sarah for the UN delegates?
Nothing. The installation went into lockdown shortly after Darrow gave his speech. I can't tell if anyone's even alive. And the signal's still broadcasting.
Meaning no one's safe till I get in there and shut it down.
You'll have to disengage the lockdown first. Look for a master control panel at the top of the tower.
Access granted.
Pritchard, Panchea's broadcast center is at the base of the station near the bottom of the ocean. Is that right?
But the lockdown caused all the blast doors to seal. You won't be able to go down until you override them manually.
From up in the tower. I got it.
Access granted.
Enter combat.
I don't want it. Like, okay, I hear it. Look, we're gonna go around. We're gonna go around the other side.
Access granted. Access granted.
I don't think you want to do that, Mr. Jensen. Disengage lockdown, and whatever demons this station contains are likely to come crashing out on us.
Afraid to die, Darrow? Or just unwilling to face what you've done?
Oh, I know what I've done, believe me. I take no pleasure in it.
And yet you still did it.
I did what had to be done. 20 years ago, I gave the world augmentation technology. I thought I was giving it a bright future, but instead I gave it the means to destroy itself. No law, no UN regulation was going to fix that.
People are dying out there. Hundreds of thousands of people driven to the brink of insanity because of you.
I had to convince the world. Before today, people believed we should steal fire from the gods and redesign human nature. But human nature is the only thing we have that gives us a moral compass and the social skills we need to live in peace. Destroy it, and you destroy our very species.
Don't paint yourself a savior in this. What you're doing is insane.
Is it? When this is done, the Illuminati won't be able to control men and women like you as they had planned, from the inside out. No one will be able to use the technology I invented to make others into beings they desire. Something we both know has happened already.
You think you're Frankenstein? Killing his own monster?
Actually, Mr. Jensen, I prefer to think of myself as Daedalus, watching helplessly as his child crashes into the sea.
I'm ending this. Now.
You can't. The signal is being generated from the broadcast center at the base of this facility. Panchea's security system has been programmed to protect it, and will kill you before you even get close.
You designed that system, Darrow. You can tell me how to shut it down.
But I won't. You think what I'm doing is extreme. You simply don't understand. For humanity to survive beyond this century, it must abandon ill-conceived notions about transcendence and embrace change. But for that to happen, the hard lesson must be learned. Blood must be shed.
You think humanity needs to be punished? Is that it? Pain is the only thing people understand? By the time this is over, there will be no humanity left to embrace your change. The stress and horror you forced us to live through will have ripped it out of us.
I knew there would be casualties, but I thought, over time, surely the human spirit can recover. Even as I listen to your words, I realize a cruel truth. No one else has the vision to see what I've seen, the will to do what I have done. You're all too weak, judging but never acting. None of you have the moral courage to see this through to its conclusion. Well, so be it. Nothing more to say, Mr. Jensen?
You've convinced yourself you're right, but whatever moral high ground you're standing on is nothing but a stack of innocent victims. You're trying to justify genocide. All your talk about ethics and ideals doesn't mean a damn compared to that.
You think my methods are inhuman, Mr. Jensen? Don't you see? I created people like you. I made it possible for you to happen. If fate had dealt me a different hand, then perhaps neither of us would be here. Isn't it obvious how fate is now conspiring to overtake us both, to grind us beneath her wheels? We must see this through, lest people like you continue to evolve and destabilize society.
People like me? You mean not like you? You changed the world when you invented this technology, but your creation is leaving you behind. And as long as it's allowed to continue, mankind will use it to evolve without you. Until the father of tomorrow is known as yesterday's man.
You think I am doing this for my ego? I never wanted this, any of it. But I had no choice. Once upon a time, I would have given all I had to be like you. But genetics cheated me of that chance, cursed me to become a cripple. And you know what? I'm relieved. Because I look in your eyes and I see how disturbed you are by what you have become. Admit it, Mr. Jensen. You've done things with those enhancements of yours you would never have considered before. You know your humanity is ebbing away.
You cover it up with all that pretense about saving the world, try to justify it. But deep down inside, you're nothing more than an angry child, spiteful, full of hate, envious and bitter. How petty is that?
Petty? I was betrayed by my own genetics, ruined by my own flesh. What right do you have to condemn me, to curse me? All I ever wanted was to build something good, something magnificent. And now, there's so much blood. So much blood. I will give you what you want, Mr. Jensen. Codes to shut down Panchaea's security system. But you'll still be in danger. Much of the system is self-determining and lethal. When you see it, maybe then you'll understand. The technology I created will not be the future any one of us desires. Please, help the world understand that. The codes should help you shut down the Hyron project, Panchaea's security system. When you see it, you will understand. There is no room for this technology in the world. Do not let me keep you. Use the codes and shut down the signal. When you do, the fate of the world will be in your hands. Do not let me keep you. Use the codes and...
Richard, the lockdown's disengaged. I'm heading back to the hangar to see if those blast doors are open. Have you been able to raise anyone?
I'm picking up several glimmers, but there's too much interference. I think you're on your own, Jensen.
Careful there, Francis. You almost sound like you regret that.
You won't take me! I won't let you! You ruined me! I'll do it quick! You're gonna pay! I promise! Don't be difficult! There's nowhere you can go! Stop! You should have stayed away!
Access granted.
can't let them take control. God.
You seem relatively normal, nicht wahr?
All things considered, yeah. You okay?
Thankfully, I was able to barricade myself in here when things got out of control. So, is it safe to come out now?
No. The rest of the station is still under siege. You better stay here until help comes. In the meantime, is it possible to download Praxis software here?
Yes, of course. No damage was done to the computers. See for yourself. I will remain here, where it's safe. If you need help, or get word of help, please come back.
This is William Taggart. If anyone out there is listening, I'm begging you, help. We've barricaded ourselves inside the core server room. Many of us are wounded. Please, save us. Please, save us.
Here. We've locked ourselves in a machine. Please! Help us!
It's in my head. I know it is!
Just get away from me!
What the hell do you think you're doing, son? Put that away! Adam! Oh, thank God you came. I've got wounded here. We'll have to move them first.
We can't move anyone yet. Not until I get to the base of the station and shut down Darrow's broadcast.
What? Why?
The chaos you experienced here, it's everywhere. The Illuminati created a biochip that stops people from using enhanced abilities, and Darrow turned it into a kill switch.
Oh my God, you... We gotta fix this, Adam. If people realize what's happened, if they believe augmentation technology created this chaos, they'll ban human enhancement research forever.
And that would be a bad thing.
Yes, it would! Don't you see what's at stake here? Ever since man first crawled out of that ocean, we've been striving to be more than we are. Augmentation technology is just the latest, greatest step on a very long road. But we've barely scratched the surface of its potential. We can't let fear stop us from continuing.
That's your belief, Seraph. Not everyone shares it.
But you do, Adam. I know it. And if we work together, we can really make a difference. We can improve the lives of everyone, but only if we fix this.
Go on.
We'd have to get a message out after you shut down Hugh's signal. Tell the world, tell them the Humanity Front did this. That their doctors created a virus that only affects augmented people.
You mean lie?
It'll give us time, son. Time to figure out how to destroy the Illuminati's biochips and move on.
And what about the people who've been hurt by this? Don't they deserve the truth?
Adam, if we want the freedom to become more than we are, we can't be blinded by a misguided morality. Some people will be left behind. It's reality. It's evolution, son.
Right. Evolution based on my DNA.
Please, son, you have to stay with me on this.
I'll think about it.
Who the hell is there? You'll never get me!
Access granted.
Mr. Jensen, how ironic that you should be the one to save us from the monsters out there.
Monsters, Taggart? You mean people. Augmented people who've lost all control, lost their reason.
Isn't that supposed to be my line? Unfortunately, it seems your esteemed Mr. Darrow decided to appropriate my point and turn it back on me. In madness and in blood. He has betrayed us all.
So you finally admit it. You are part of this, after all. You have been all along.
It would be pointless to deny anything now, but despite what you think of us, we never wanted augmentations outlawed. All we've ever sought is regulation. Rules governing how the technology is developed and laws that ensure it's used for the good of society.
You've raised society above humanity. So who gets to make those rules?
Men with wisdom, strength, and tenacity to know what's right. Proven leaders who distinguish themselves like you, Mr. Jensen. You've certainly earned the right to be one of us. All you have to do is take it.
I'm not looking for glory, Taggart.
Just remember that without control, there's no room for freedom, only anarchy. You were a policeman once. You know the importance of order.
I know there's a difference between order and slavery.
The biochip wasn't supposed to force people to do anything. It merely limited powers so that people couldn't go on killing sprees like the ones taking place right now.
Amazing how well that worked out.
Say what you will, but I know that some part of you agrees with me. Absolute freedom is no different than absolute chaos. Society needs boundaries if it has any hope of surviving. And you, Mr. Jensen, can be the one to give us that hope. Shut down Darrow's signal. Then help me get a message out saying that an accident at VersaLife contaminated the world's neuropozyne supply.
VersaLife? And what if I decided to blame the Illuminati?
The Illuminati is just a name to get rich financiers to invest more money. Besides, do you really think the world will believe in some 18th century conspiracy theory? Do this for us, and you'll ensure a future for mankind, all of mankind, augmented or otherwise. The future Hugh Darrow offers doesn't allow for both.
Let me think about it.
Water pressure nominal at 173 psi.
Who am I?
Communications web online.
I feel cold.
Drones 1 through 3 within operational parameters.
I don't remember.
Drone 4 disconnected.
Let me go.
Processing.
Oh God, please help me. I'm scared.
Core temperature stable. Processing.
Zhao, what are you doing?
Connecting to Panchaea's Haron project, Mr. Jensen. The most advanced quantum computer slave to the human brain, and the closest to perfection we'll ever achieve. I'm going to use it to hack Darrow's signal and rework the message to our benefit.
Our benefit? You mean the Illuminati's?
Someone has to override the signal and be the world's savior. And let's be honest, neither of us would trust anyone else to fill that role. Computer, begin EEG sync.
So much pain.
Syncing beta waves at 40 cycles per second.
Sleep, please. Let me sleep.
Incompatible master-slave chain detected. Alert. Unable to transfer control to Alpha Pod.
The system won't recognize my chip.
Neural systems offline. Rerouting control of the
I can't control Iron!
Increasing glutamate levels by 32%.
Zhao, get them out of there. I have to reach the control chamber.
No! I can still control it! I'm in control!
Stop the signal!
Security alert.
Through the primary drone hatch.
Oh, shit.
Alpha Pod security in place. To access Alpha Pod, purge tertiary pods.
I must be the one to alter the signal. Once I do, the Council will welcome me with open arms.
No! Protect Mother! Stay away! Stay away! Bad man is here. Why does he want to kill us? Kill him.
You have been better served keeping your head down, Jensen.
I'll do it, Mother. Just don't hurt anymore.
Error in system.
Iron is weakening.
Rerouting connection.
Regaining control. I must...
Reroute complete.
Hydrostatic pressure. Rising. Can't breathe. It hurts. It hurts so much. Systems are... My organic systems under stress will acclimatize.
Do you see where honor and ambition lead you? To a hole miles deep in the ocean, about to meet your end. I'm powerless.
Look at what they've done. I don't like it here. I don't like it. It's so cool down here. Dirk, show us the light, Mother. Where's the light?
Master failing. Error in system. Rerouting connection. Reroute complete.
I can't move. Why can't I move? ACHE levels are critically low. How much longer will it be, Mother? I want to go home.
I have no choice but to eliminate you. You have lost everything.
For so long. Tired. System monitors online constantly. There's too much to keep track of.
Warning. Tertiary pods are offline. Primary security measures disabled. Power surge detected.
Electrical charge above normal levels and rising. Preparing for discharge sequencing. Warning. Electrical charge subcritical and rising. Electric discharge sequence initialized.
It's happening! I am compromised!
You don't know the resources they have at their disposal. Despite your special genetics, you have been in over your head the whole time. Initiate syndication protocol. There is no way you can defeat this system. There is nothing you can do to stop it.
Electrical charge subcritical and rising. Halfway to discharge sequence. Warning. Primary pod compromised. Secondary security measures activated. Evacuate area.
You still cannot reach me, Jensen. There are too many contingencies built into the system. You and I have both failed.
Electrical charge approaching critical level. Discharge imminent. Clear the area.
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the Edge. It is not the end of the world, but you can see it from here.
Eliza? What are you doing here?
It is my job to monitor and report on the news, Adam. Before Darrow smothered everything with his signal, the whole world was tuned into this place, including me.
The broadcast. I have to stop it.
I know. Please, come closer. Do you know where we are, Adam? We are at the fulcrum point, when society lies in the balance. Hugh Darrow hoped to tip the scales one way, by telling the world everything you already know. About the biochip, the Illuminati, everything. He believed knowing the truth would convince mankind to abandon research into human enhancement technologies forever.
It would certainly give them reason to fear it.
Indeed. Darrow's confession is ready to send. If you want, I can wideband it across all media as soon as you shut down the signal. everything you worked so hard to uncover will be exposed. But only if you deactivate the broadcast using this control. However, if you desire, I can alter Darrow's message. Conceal the creation of the biochip while putting in new content.
Content blaming the humanity front, like Sarif suggested.
The organization has already admitted to harboring terrorists. It would be easy to convince people they turn to biological warfare in a more desperate attempt to get rid of augmented people.
But why? What would that achieve?
In time, it could shift the focus of hatred onto people whose prejudices are seen as too extreme, leaving corporations free to experiment with human evolution as they desire. But if you want me to perform this edit for you, you must disengage the signal and activate the video edit function from here. Alternatively, Darrow's message can be adjusted to erase all mention of the power group known as the Illuminati. I can report that lack of proper regulation allowed vast quantities of neuropazine to become contaminated prior to reaching the market.
Taggart's preference. You think the world will buy a made-up story about neuropazine poisoning?
You might be surprised by what people believe. I can convince them. And having experienced the negative effects of corporate negligence firsthand, a majority of people might force the world to place harsh restrictions on all human enhancement research. But only if you disengage the signal and activate the video edit function from here. Of course, there is another option. This passage leads to Panchaea's pressure regulation controls. Destroy them and the installation will cave in on itself, overwhelmed by the weight of the ocean pressing against it. Everyone inside the structure will die.
That's a solution?
No one will be left to tell the world what happened, Adam. Nobody will be able to spin the story.
Including me.
The choice is yours. Do you believe you have the wisdom to choose an appropriate future for mankind? Or do you trust mankind to find the answers on its own? If you do this, the unadulterated truth in Darrow's confession may well convince mankind to cast all science and technology aside, to ensure that future generations grow up free and whole. Are you sure this is your choice? So be it then.
Albert Einstein said, technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. Took me a while, but I finally see his point. How often have we chased the dream of progress only to see it perverted? More often than not, haven't the machines we built to improve life shattered the lives of millions? And now we want to turn that dream on ourselves to fundamentally improve who we are. Experience has shown me how dangerous that can be. How many times in the call of duty did I almost fall into the trap of taking shortcuts, abusing my abilities or the resources at hand? I resisted. Barely at times, because I valued human lives and considerations. Can I truly despise others who fall? Technology offers us strength. Strength enables dominance, and dominance paves the way for abuse. Darrow understood this. He knew that using technology to become something more than we are risks losing our ability to love, aspire, or make moral choices. The very things that make us human. It also risks giving some men the power to make others what they choose, regardless of the cost to human dignity. The suffering Darrow inflicted is not the end of the world. It is merely the seed for change. And change never comes without pain.
credits roll. I'll be right back.
You worry too much, Morgan. There's nothing we can't manage given time. She's here. I have to cut this short. Keep going through the wreckage. Maybe we'll find something we can use for the Morpheus initiative. Come in. Dr. Reed. We're so pleased you decided to join us.
Where else could I go?
No regrets, my dear. As Ariadne told Theseus before he entered the Minotaur's labyrinth, always forward, never left or right. You'll be very interested in our current project. We're breaking new ground.
Yes, the nanite virus chimera is quite intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing the hybrid project up close, Mr. Page.
And so you shall. But please, call me Bob.
Alright, well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the journey from start to finish. The next game won't be so long and so heavy on story, but I wanted to get this out there because it has such a great story. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for coming out and watching. Stay tuned for more shit. Alright, you guys have a good day.